It has been an interesting day for the Delhi Metro. There was some cheer for the metro itself, and then the metro offered some cheer to its passengers. Let's start with something that had the metro thrilled. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, let's put those pictures out there, decided to take the metro to the centenary celebrations at Delhi University. The BJP has said that the Prime Minister had ditched his usual VIP convoy. Let's put those pictures out for our viewers. This is to my producers of the Prime Minister taking the metro. There he is. So the BJP is saying that he ditched his usual VIP convoy to travel like the Aam Aadmi. The opposition called it a photo op, but the students the Prime Minister interacted with looked fairly thrilled. Listen in to what happened inside the metro train.
सर मैं रांची
झारखंड आपने झारखंड के बाहर कोई दोस्त बनाए यहाँ?
जी बहुत सारे बनाए।
किस राज्य के?
सर यूपी के हैं और मैं जिस कॉलेज में हूँ वो बालाजी मंदिर चलाती है, तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे मेरे तेलुगु दोस्त भी बने हैं और एक साउथ अफ्रीका का भी है। जी
नहीं, जो कोई साउथ के राज्य के होंगे, किसी से लैंग्वेज के 5-10 वाक्य सीख लिए, ऐसा कुछ किया?
हाँ, मैंने करा था।
हाँ,
मलयालम में कोई लड़की मिली, वो कॉल कर बात कर रही थी। मैंने सुना कि मैंने उनसे पूछा कि ये कौन सी लैंग्वेज है, तो उन्होंने बोला कि मलयालम है। तो उन्होंने फिर मैंने उनसे और पूछा कि मलयालम में कुछ बताइए मुझे कि मैं किसी से हेलो बोलूँ या किसी से कुछ बात करूँ। फिर मैंने उनको रिकॉर्ड भी कर लिया ताकि सुन भी सकूँ। मैंने हिंदी सिखाई है।
हिंदी?
हमारे कॉलेज में मणिपुर से बच्चे आते हैं, तो उनको बहुत इंटरेस्ट था, तो हमने उन्हें हिंदी सिखाई।
आपने सिखाई?
Now that interaction left the students in high spirits. Speaking of high spirits, the metro decided to spread some Friday fun to its passengers. So from today, the Delhi Metro has allowed passengers to carry 2 sealed bottles of alcohol on board the train. The caveat is you can carry it, but you can't consume it. Now, what the Delhi Metro has essentially allowed is what is already in play on the Airport Express line. People are allowed to purchase 2 bottles of alcohol from duty-free shops at the airport, and so they are allowed to carry it on what is called the Airport Metro line. Today's notification brought joy to thousands of Delhi NCR residents who travel to Gurugram specially sometimes to buy alcohol, which is way cheaper than Delhi and Uttar Pradesh. But while the move may have lifted the spirits for some, others are seeing it as a security challenge. Delhi Metro sees a daily footfall of over 51 lakh people on an average. So, naturally, passengers are divided on the move.
क्या होता है कि अगर हम लोग लेट भी हो जाते हैं दिल्ली जैसे शहर में, तो हमारा एकमात्र सहारा होता है मेट्रो कि वो सेफ़ है। लेकिन अब इस डिसीजन से हम लोग थोड़े इनसिक्योर हो जाएंगे, तो आई गेस ये डिसीजन बिल्कुल भी सही नहीं है।
गलत है, बिल्कुल गलत है। सील बॉटल्स का कोई प्रूफ नहीं है कि वो सील्ड ही रहेंगे एट द एंड ऑफ ट्रेवल, क्योंकि एंड में कोई चेकिंग नहीं होती। तो कंजम्पशन होगी मेट्रो में, और नहीं भी होगी स्टिल वो अच्छा नहीं है, क्योंकि मेट्रो में बच्चे भी होते हैं, दे विल बी इन कॉन्टैक्ट ऑफ दैट, तो वो बिल्कुल गलत डिसीजन है। वुमेन सेफ्टी तो है ही सेक पे, क्योंकि मेट्रो में इतना रश होता है, बैड टच का प्रॉब्लम, फिर इतना कोजी हो जाते हैं लोग समटाइम्स, क्योंकि वुमेन कोच के बाद भी वुमेन्स को रहना पड़ता है, तो है इशू।
आई डोंट थिंक ये सही है, क्योंकि एज अ वुमेन अगर कोई भी लिक्विड कंजप्शन भी करता है या फिर हमारे सामने पीता है, तो हमें बहुत कंफर्टेबल नहीं फील होता, तो हमारे लिए बिल्कुल भी सही नहीं है। अगर वो हम कभी भी मेट्रो में पीते हैं, कोई अगर होश में भी पर्सन ये सामने आ जाता है, तो हमें बिल्कुल भी कंफर्टेबल फील नहीं होता, तो आई डोंट थिंक ये अच्छा है। तो अगर कंजप्शन नहीं कर रहा है तो फिर भी बेटर है, बट हम कोई गारंटी नहीं ले सकते।
Now the thing is, I feel that it is absolutely rubbish that they are allowing even the sealed liquor to be allowed in the metros, because obviously passengers will be disturbed and it is not a way. So I am against this, whatever they have come up with.
If you carry liquor, you are once a kind of giving a liberty that you can have any kind of behavior, because if you are giving this permission, you are also somewhere allowing the passengers to behave indecently. So I think it should be regulated. Even if you are carrying liquor bottles, it should be regulated in a sense that you should not misuse it. And if it is allowed, so then it is okay. But if it is not regulated, it will be very difficult.
पर्सन टू पर्सन वेरी करता है. सपोज दैट अगर एक पर्सन है अब अल्कोहल लेके भी जा रहा है और पी के भी जा रहा है तो दैट इज़ नॉट सेफ. लेकिन अगर वो लेके जा रहा है और वो सेफली लेके जा रहा है और गवर्नमेंट ने उसे अलाउड कर दिया, तो इसमें कोई रिस्क की बात नहीं है.
Now, the primary concern of those taking the metro is that currently there is no means to ensure that people will not drink on board the train and misbehave with other passengers. The Delhi Metro says that drinking is strictly prohibited and only sealed bottles can be carried. But honestly, what is the guarantee that these sealed bottles will not be unsealed in the train? For example, eating is not allowed on the metro, but people do eat, and they aren't checked by very many. Now, in the past few months, there have been countless incidents of commuters engaging in indecent behavior. Let's put those pictures out as well. And this is not just indecent behavior, but public exposure and public display of affection as well. This is something that leaves people on the metro train deeply uncomfortable. And all of this is despite the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation's repeated warnings. So, is the Delhi Metro really in a position to check that sealed bottles will not unseal security issues for women on board? That is what we want to hear from you today on the Daily Mirror. So we are opening up our phone lines. If you have a view on the new move by the Delhi Metro, do call us. Is the move going to augment convenience, or is it simply going to create unpleasantness on board? Let me introduce my guest to you this evening. Yashovardhan Azad is a former IPS officer. Raj Lakshmi Joshi is a political analyst. And as we open our phone calls, I believe we already have a caller from Pune. I'm not sure I caught his name. What was that? All right. I believe Chitranjan is on the line with us. Hi, Chitranjan. Good evening. You're our first caller, so I thought maybe we should start with you. Go ahead, please.
Lucky. Okay. And this is trains coming out of the international airport, going towards the other places. They may be allowed in the same sealed bag in which they have bought the liquor out. But apart from that, it will be a big nuisance to have any bottle, carrying the bottles all over the place is going to be a very big nuisance for an inconvenience to everyone. That's my views, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Yashovardhan Azad, I want to know your view first. You know, a lot of girls, now maybe we should have spoken to the men as well. Maybe our reporter should have spoken to the men as well outside the metro station. But every woman that Ela spoke to seems to think this is a bad idea. And they seem to think it's a bad idea because no one really, man or woman, wants to be around a drunk man. I understand convenience. I understand that, alcohol needs to be treated as just another commodity that is being carried on the metro. But is this really a good idea living in the times that we do?
I think we are living in 2023. And I was very happy to hear that bold lady when she said, yes, there is no harm if the bottles are sealed. See, Shreya, the more we control, the more problems we'll have. In fact, I'm even against those dry days because, what happens is that on dry days, people store alcohol from the previous day and then they have it. Now, in a metro, if you've allowed sealed bottles, it's absolutely on par. I mean, there should be no problem. Now, the entire the scenario as it's being painted out is that if you allow bottles, people will start drinking. No, it's not. It's not. Evident. Around pubs or bars, there is this general feeling that you should keep it 100 meters away because every day there is something or the other which is happening. That's not really happening. It always occurs due to the aberrant behavior of some passengers. So the question is, on the metro itself, do we have adequate security arrangements or not? As you know, in the present metro that we have, there might be a footfall of 51 lakh passengers, as you say, but there is a tremendous CCTV coverage. And you have the CISF also. The RPF constables in Bombay are doing a brilliant work in catching the aberrant, passengers who are indulging in misbehavior. And in this case, I'm telling you, if 4 or 5 cases are made an example of the way the police has reacted, I just think the system will run. And therefore, I would say that there is nothing wrong with this.
Okay. Before I go to Raj Lakshmi, I believe we have Captain Jaspal, our most loyal caller on the phone line with us. He calls us from Rohtak. Captain, please go ahead.
Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to the live panel. I very humbly and quietly disagree with the ex-IPS officer, very fine officer. You know, those who are alcoholics, they are genius of the highest order. You allow 2, they will carry 6. They will fix a straw. They will add soda. And some of them will start staring at you at 6 in the morning. And those going in the evening, and the boys and girls can make it a bar. We go from here to Gurgaon and come back to Delhi. We have got AC place to, and then there are people like ex-chief, as the wrestlers told you, they will check your breathing, they will check your cows, and they will do utter nonsense. It is just not, it will be better off if you don't allow liquor. And there are no marshals. And the passengers don't cooperate with each other. They won't come to the rescue of you and me. I'm 80-year-old. And you can imagine what should happen to them. It is better it is left alone.
Okay.
They can travel by some other means. Metro
All
is
right.
as it is overcrowded. We
Okay.
don't need these genius people on the metro.
Done.
Thank
Okay. Thank you. You're saying the metro is already overcrowded. The last thing you need is people who decide to make this a moving bar. I understand the point you're making. Quickly, I'm going to take in Manvinder, who's calling us from Chandigarh, and then I'm going to go to Raj Lakshmi. Manvinder, please go ahead, please. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I totally disagree with the decision of the government. Hello? Totally disagree with the decision.
Okay. Yes, I can hear
Already
you.
we
You
have
disagree.
seen, yes, already we have seen many nuisance in the metro. So this will add to the nuisance. It should not be immediately banned, or some alternate arrangement should be made. Nobody is going to check up the bottles opened or drink or not. If people can buy this liquor, they can travel by other means. No, this metro is for children and aged people. Why should we allow this liquor on the metro? Totally disagree.
Okay. Totally disagree. Thank you, Manvinder. So here's the thing, Raj Lakshmi. Everyone who has called us has disagreed with the metro's moves. I want to ask you, what's the harm? You know, Yashovardhan Azad is saying we are living in 2023. This is Delhi that we are talking about. What is the harm if you let people carry sealed bottles of alcohol like any other commodity? Give it a shot. If people decide to, you know, if there are incidents of people unsealing the bottle, and if misbehavior increases on the metro, sure enough, go ahead and ban it once again, but at least try it out. Maybe it ends up benefiting some people. For example, I do know a lot of people go to Gurgaon simply to buy alcohol. Because alcohol is cheap there, cheaper than Delhi, cheaper than Uttar Pradesh. So people from Noida travel all the way to Gurgaon to buy alcohol. People from Chandigarh travel all the way to Gurgaon to buy alcohol. I want to ask you, what's the harm in trying it out?
Good evening, Shreya. And today I'm going to speak as a mother of a daughter and as a woman also. And I'm sure that you also must have traveled in public transport at least at some point in your life. And, this is something that we have all experienced we have all had very bad experiences whenever we have traveled on, public transport. And, this particular thing about inebriated passengers was something that I was actually appalled at some instances on some airlines also, where some people drank a bit too much. And even that I had an issue with, but now I am appalled that this facility could extend to people actually traveling on metro trains as well, and in Delhi. So, as a mother, I know I have heard some other mothers of daughters say that you can never be too safe. No precaution is too much. You have to always take precautions. You cannot say that let us just loosen this thing a little bit and see how it goes. because it is like disasters waiting to happen. How do you have control over some people opening the seals and drinking it? Like you have heard your caller say, and we all ourselves know that you yourself have said, you stole my words actually. I was going to say the exact same things, that a lot of things that are not allowed on metros, they are actually happening. People are eating, people are littering. So all of these things are happening. So do you have any control over that? All with all the CCTVs in the world, what are you able to do with about the littering? What are you able to do about stopping people from eating in the trains? So all of that you cannot stop. So then about the liquor also, now it was there was a reason why it was limited to the airport line. And now I think that this decision, obviously, now that they have opened it, I think that they will have to take it back. See, we cannot put a stoppage as to
Okay.
people eating non-veg food or about having alcohol and all those things. Those are all personal preferences. Obviously, we are living in 2023. We have to
Okay.
respect people's preferences, but at the same time, we have to look at women's safety. We have to see how these the public transport has to be made more and more suitable for even well-to-do people to be able to go and travel comfortably and safely at the same time. So just imagine, there might be certain times
Okay,
at
so
which
you're saying
it
it's a
may not.
security concern.
Yes, absolutely. And there may be times
You're
when
saying
it
it's a
may not be
security
crowded
concern,
also.
and public transport is not a place you can risk people with alcohol, right? Okay, let me get in quickly two more callers. Very interesting, because we are getting many callers from outside Delhi, so that to me is very interesting. Let's go to Mrs. Pelang first, calling us from Mumbai. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening. See, people find ways to get liquor cheaper all over the. Hello? People find ways to get liquor cheaper.
I can hear you.
Anywhere, from any shop or anyway. Now, if you find that liquor is cheaper in another place, then it'll become like an industry. You'll have touts. You'll have people who will only be doing this day in, day out, getting cheap liquor from one place and going to the other. So this is not a place where you want to have all these touts. It's going to happen because it is cheaper somewhere else. So it'll become like an industry. So where is the metro safe for anybody? It's going to be full of touts and agents who will be going to one place, carrying liquor and bringing 2 bottles and making a profit out of it. I think it's the most ridiculous idea. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Pelang, for calling us. Prasad is calling us from Mumbai as well. Prasad, go ahead. Good evening.
More people have given life for drink than for any other reason. So the question is whether you allow it or don't allow it. People will still carry it. But the only thing is, why should we make it easier for them? There is always a temptation if you have a bottle in your hand to take a sip, take a swig. That's it. Otherwise, nothing wrong in carrying anything. You can carry. In fact, the people are objecting even to carry higher amounts of money in the bank. Police will stop you. Everywhere they'll check, why are you taking money? Why are you taking 5 lakhs rupees in cash? After all, it's a legal tender. They should not ask. But you see, if you want to stop it, you stop it at any level. If you don't want to stop it, you don't stop it at any level. See, what I'm trying to say, since the things are going better as they are, we should continue with that. That's it.
So you're saying if things are working okay at the metro, why add an element of drama to it by introducing, at least the carriage of alcohol bottles on board? Okay, I get what you're saying. We have another caller from Mumbai. We have Sony calling us. Sony, please go ahead. Good evening.
My view is that this should be allowed because metro trains are crowded. Carrying of bottles from one place to another should be allowed. As an experiment, they can try it. And as you said, or some caller said, they can try and they can stop it always. There is security there. There are cameras are there. What harm is there if one carries a bottle from one place where it is cheaper to another place? So, in my opinion, this is a good move and a welcome move.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Good to hear your view as well. Can I quickly take in two more callers and then go back to my guest? We have Kalpana again calling us from Mumbai, and then we have Ajay from Gurugram. But first, let's go to Kalpana. Kalpana, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Shreya. Like somebody said, Good evening, Shreya. Like somebody said, there are a lot of things which are happening in the metro. And somebody said, earlier caller said there's security, there is camera, but a lot of things are happening in the metro. I mean, in Bombay, you have to turn around and tell people that you can't eat in the metro, and they look at you as if you come from another planet. So now carrying this liquor and somebody opens a bottle and drinks, then what is the answer for us? Sometimes you're taking a metro at 10:30 in the night, and I'm having somebody sitting next to me having a drink. I mean, how am I going to feel? So, and if they experiment in Delhi, do you expect the other metros not to experiment on this?
True, Kalpana. I agree with you. Thank you for calling us. I believe we have Arvind from Chennai calling us. Arvind, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, permitting this liquor bottles in a closed environment is going to create a legal problem where even now cell phones and other things talking aloud and listening to music on the mobile is a nuisance in the public space. Why can't people restrict themselves for just a short duration?
Arvind, I can't hear you very clearly, unfortunately. We'll try and reconnect with you. We're just disconnecting your line and reconnecting with you. Couldn't hear you very well. Yashovardhan Azad, look, most of the callers, except one, with the exception of one, no one seems to be saying this is a moral issue. This is not moral policing, where you don't want people to carry sealed bottles of alcohol in the metro because someone may think of, alcoholism or look at alcohol in the under the prism of morality. That's not it. Most people who have called, and many of them women, are saying it's going to lead to a problem. Unsealing a bottle is not very tough. And for any woman, any man either, but especially for women, traveling alongside drunk men or people having a drink quietly, it's a deeply, deeply uncomfortable experience. Why should they have to go through it? It's not like there was any great demand from the people of Delhi to the Delhi metro that please allow us to carry bottles of alcohol on board. There was no great demand from citizens of this city. Then why unilaterally move on it?
See, regulations, Shreya, they are meant for convenience of the public. If this has been allowed, this is for the convenience. Now, a poor man, a middle-class man who rides the metro also has a right to drink alcohol. If he's going to Gurgaon, do you expect each one of them to come on taxi or in their own cars? So how will they go? They'll go by taking a bus? The bus takes a longer time, in fact, than a metro. So if it is dangerous here, it's more dangerous on a bus. Second, look at the international flights. There are occasions when even the most smart, most educated, and the most rich get drunk and misbehave. So an appropriate action is taken. Just because a good regulation is not being followed properly does not mean that you ban the regulation. In fact, you should see that it works well. And that's why I'm saying, what do you have an army of CISF for? What do you have this CCTV for? All aberrant behavior should be checked and people should be taught how to behave. And how many of them do you think will behave out of 100%? There'll be 1% cases. And therefore, for those 1% cases and this expectation, if you ban it, I think we are going back into times. Come on, once again, this is 2023. We have to move ahead, not back.
Okay, two more callers. Let's try and go to Arvind. His line wasn't very clear. He was calling us from Chennai. I think we have him repatched with us. Arvind, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, Arvind here. I hope I'm audible now. Hello?
Yes, you are, Arvind. Please go ahead.
Yeah. See, there are other sorts of nuisances already in metro trains, like loud music and listening to a thing in a very closed environment. So bringing in one more headache where there is practically no policing, there is no kind of inspection, this should be strictly banned by taking a person, one or two, particularly it is metros used by youngsters, and now permitting them to take in liquor bottles would tempt them to open it up. And it is going to create a law and order problem. So liquor in train, any metro train should be strictly prohibited at any cost. Let them take it by their own private vehicle.
Okay. Okay. You're saying if you have to carry liquor bottles, do it in a private vehicle, don't do it in a public transport. Thank you, Arvind, for calling us. Ahmed, you're calling us from New Delhi. Go ahead, please.
Yes. What I'm telling, why you're allowing to the metro and all those things from the Gurgaon and all those things, you're not give the permission in the Delhi itself, no? That will be better.
Delhi and alcohol don't seem to mix well together, as we know. It has already put 2 ministers of the Delhi government in jail. Mr. Ahmed, so I don't think that is a suggestion that the Delhi government is going to take very seriously. But yeah, okay, thank you. I get the point you're making. Thank you very much. I'm just quickly going to take one more caller, go to Raj Lakshmi and wrap the chat. We have Mr. Bhaskar from Chennai. Mr. Bhaskar, go ahead. Good evening.
Yeah, my submission is with regard to Mr. Yashovardhan Azad's statement that it should be properly monitored and checked. The implementation, I would say that these traffic regulations have been there for time immemorial, but do we have people who follow the traffic rules? And is that being properly monitored and checked? No. There are a lot of traffic violations. Like that, this may lead to a lot of violations on the trains. And you know, this is a vestibuled train. All metros are vestibuled, and you can go from one end to the other. And if you have somebody going berserk, you have a problem on your hands. Is it not?
Okay. Okay, I'll let Mr. Azad respond to that. It's a valid point you raised. Mr. Azad, would you want to respond to our caller?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, aberrant behavior is everywhere. You know, I mean, just because alcohol is bad for the people, you don't have prohibition. You have something like that in Bihar, and you've seen what is happening. In the case of a metro, if you have whole battalions of CISF over there, you have the CCTV cameras. It's meant for that. You did not take a good regulation away just because it can't be implemented 1%, and there are 1% cases only. That's not fair. Today, we have to allow convenience. How will you allow a person coming from Gurgaon otherwise? He has to take his own taxi or his own car. If he's a middle class, a lower middle class, doesn't he have a right to drink? How does he come? He stays in Gurgaon itself. So these are things which you have to look in that wider context. And because of that point, some percent cases, you cannot do away with the regulation itself.
Okay. Oh my God, our callers simply, our phone lines are buzzing. I thought I'll wrap this show at 6:30. It's already 6:30 and what do I say? Raj Lakshmi, what do I say? Should I come to you? Should I go to our callers? Okay, maybe a caller from Ghaziabad, Shankar, and then Raj Lakshmi, I'm coming to you. Mr. Shankar, go ahead, please.
Good evening, madam. Hello.
Mr. Shankar, good evening. I can hear you loud and clear, but I can also hear my voice in the backdrop because your television set ka audio is on. My suggestion is before you start speaking, just reduce the volume of your TV set. Yeah, go ahead, please. No problem. Yes, it's okay now.
I'm worried
Perfect.
about.
Go ahead.
Madam, I don't drink. I'm worried about the glass bottle. I don't know whether it's a plastic bottle or glass bottle. One is that. Okay. Accidentally, if the bottle falls down, what will happen? Number two, madam, I want to tell you, I respect Azad sir very well. You see, government wants to earn something from casino, from this alcohol, and then I think, in course of time, government will also legalize prostitution to earn some money. That is my worry. One is about the bottle. Second is about the government, is short of money. Government wants to earn money. I think government will also legalize prostitution. So I think I don't endorse that. And we have to expect the other half, 50% of ladies. So we have to appreciate the sentiments also. These are my suggestions. Okay, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're saying, thank you. You're saying appreciate the sentiments of ladies as well. Last caller, Wensley from Pune. Ladies and gentlemen, to all our viewers, we are already over on the show, but I'll take our last caller, Wensley, who's calling us from Pune, and then we'll close our phone lines on this. Go ahead, Wensley. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Shreya. There are a lot of pros and cons to what's happening right now. I mean, I don't totally agree with the IAS officer or the IPS officer who was there. Whatever he says, there's 50% to it and 50% not. Now, I heard you saying that alcohol is cheaper in Gurgaon, whatever it is. Now, I'm staying in Pune. I go down to Goa. Again, alcohol is very cheap there. But I can't get alcohol from Goa to Pune. So why doesn't something happen like that? So if something happens like that, nobody goes down there to bring the alcohol.
Okay, Mr. Wellesley, but that'll be very unfair for people who live in the NCR. Look, fact is, there is no prohibition in the Delhi NCR region. Drinking is legally allowed. People do it for pleasure, and yes, some people, a handful of people, sort of get badly behaved after drinking, but most people I know are fairly sane and are happier after a drink. So can we look at the entire issue from the prism of morality? That is, I think, dangerous territory, but I get your sentiments, Mr. Wellesley. Thank you very much for calling us. Rajlakshmi Joshi, I'll give you the last word. I mean, the argument that you made on the show has been made by 99.9% viewers on this show. Again, I say, why be unfair to people who drink? Or why be unfair to people who want to carry 2 bottles of alcohol from Gurgaon to Delhi or Gurgaon to Noida? Why penalize them? And you are judging them, even before they've bought that bottle of alcohol, really.
Shreya, you know what? Actually, I think Mr. Azad, he was speaking in a very idealistic world. And what you're saying also, it's a very valid concern. Yes, there might be people who might want to bring in the alcohol from Gurgaon and all. But then again, until and unless the safety concerns are met, until and unless all these CCTV cameras and all the security personnel who are supposedly there on the trains and who are supposedly looking into everything, till they are able to curb all this eating and littering, etc., which are considerably smaller or maybe a little more negligible in comparison with people misbehaving with women. So till those things are not taken care of, I don't think we should be introducing something that can actually be a safety concern for women. I think that first we should be taking care of this fact that all these safety concerns are met, and then and only then should any such thing be introduced. Because see, there are a lot of other countries, like in the UK and the US, you can easily eat and you can also have alcohol on the trains. They have even there are certain restrictions on certain trains where they go for football matches and things like that, where a lot of crowds are expected, because there they expect people to misbehave. There also they have restrictions for certain areas because there they don't want people to misbehave. But generally they allow alcohol there because they are sure that the lawmakers, the law keepers will be able to take care of it. But here in our country, this was not allowed on all these public transport, all this while, simply because we know for a fact that our crowds may not be able to be controlled, or we might not be able to actually monitor what is happening. And just imagine if it's a deserted train and somebody is actually drinking, what happens then?
Yeah, I agree the concerns. I agree the concern. I hear everyone. But the fact is the Delhi Metro hearing. The move has been introduced today. There is now public feedback available to the Delhi Metro. The ball, as they say, is in the Delhi Metro's court. Now, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Mr. Azad, for joining us. Raj Lakshmi ji, thank you very much for joining us as well. And thank you to all our viewers who called in as well. For the moment, a quick break on the show.